Hey, what's up, everybody? We're live on Dead Man's Triad Wrestling Podcast. We're finally here. We're returning live, and the first day we return live, we have technical problems, so we're running a little bit behind today. Gerard Simonelli's with us today, my partner in crime here for today. Ronnie is absent again. He's got his wife's birthday, so I want to wish his wife a happy birthday. Gerard, what's up?
Not much, just happy we're back in the air, and I can't wait for today's topic.
Yeah. I hope everything looks and sounds good if anybody's going to watch us right now, which we were a little behind schedule. Hopefully people will start watching. I streamed not only to our Facebook page, we're on YouTube, as well as my own personal Facebook page. So hopefully some people will tune in and chat with us today. We do have a chat room, so feel free to ask us questions about the topic, and also let us know if there's any audio issues, video issues, or anything like that. So I'm trying a new method with some software and some other stuff to go through StreamYard. I think it looks great, Gerard. What do you think?
Actually, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And the backgrounds we have are nice.
Yeah. I love the freedom of being able to change the camera views, the background, and having the freedom to just basically adjust anything we want. For those who know me, I'm a graphic designer, so I can really fancy it up, and it looks really cool. I think it looks great.
Yep.
Yeah. So, guys, again, our topic for this week, live with this week, we're going to highlight, I thought it would be a great idea just to stick with one wrestler each week. We're going to highlight different wrestlers every week. We'll each pick one or whatever. But this week I figured, since Dark Side of the Ring Season 3 came out, I thought it would be great to kind of highlight Brian Pillman, because I liked Brian Pillman a lot during his day. Unfortunately, he's not alive anymore. He died a few years back. He was a great wrestler. I think he was very creative with his promotions, his promos, his videos. Nobody could tell if he was like legitimately crazy or playing his character, which I thought was the best thing about Brian Pillman. What do you think of that, Gerard?
A lot of research on Brian Pillman, and he was a loose cannon.
Yeah.
When he first came in as Flying Brian, I thought he was an awesome wrestler. He wasn't a very big wrestler compared to the other wrestlers out there.
Yeah.
But he was very, very good wrestler.
Yeah, he was. For those who don't know any history about Brian Pillman, he started out. He was a singles wrestler when he was younger. He did the independent scene, but when he signed on to WCW, they didn't know really where to stick him. And also, when Stunning Steve Austin, aka Stone Cold Steve Austin, also they didn't know where to stick him, so they kind of just like, why don't you two form a tag team? And they didn't inform those guys at the time. I think they only talked to Brian at the time and not Steve. And Steve was like, what do you mean we're going to form a tag team? Nobody told me anything.
Yep.
And they just basically threw them together, and Brian Pillman was like, well, just make the best of it. And they actually became a really good tag team. They were known as the Hollywood Blondes.
Yep. And they wrestled against Shane Douglas and Brett Armstrong back then.
Yep.
We're good. And Shane Douglas was a phenomenal wrestler back in those days.
Yeah, he sure was.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Shane Douglas. I didn't like him too much in WWF when he signed with them. I think they kind of ruined his character and gimmick that he had. But when he went, after he left them, he went to ECW a little while. I loved Shane Douglas in ECW. I thought he was great there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They had they even had the faction Triple Threat. It was him, Bam Bam Bigelow. Who was the third guy? I don't remember the third one.
Oh. Nah, that one I don't remember them.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, but they were great. If I remember correctly, Gerard, wasn't Brian Pillman a horseman?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he got picked up with the Four Horsemen.
Right.
But I know he was Stu Hart.
Mm-hmm.
He became a horseman for a while, and then after that, his career just started going downhill after that.
Do you think it was basically like ever since that bad car accident he had?
Yeah, it was supposedly that car accident. He destroyed his ankle.
Yeah.
And he got put on some major painkillers. But even his wife Melanie, she put up basically that he was in tremendous amounts of pain.
Yeah.
And then he got into growth hormones on top of that.
Right.
But with those painkillers, it was nonstop, and you didn't know that he was in so much pain that it was all prescription drugs. It was nothing bad. But with the steroids, the growth hormones, that was his downfall.
Yeah, most definitely. And what was really what I learned through Dark Side of the Ring, which I thought they did some great research on his behind the scenes things that were going on. At the time, he was in limbo between his contract ended with WCW at the time, and that was the time where nobody knew where anyone would show up. WWF and WCW were competing, and they were basically pitching wrestlers against one another as far as competition and who was going where. And there were some guys that suggested that he go to WWF and it would make him more money because of the state of his character, where it was going, and that's when he had the car accident. And unfortunately, he didn't wrestle very much for WWF at the time because of his injury. But he became kind of like a valet slash commentator. They utilized him in different storylines. But he was with the Hart Foundation because he was very close with Bret Hart and his family.
Yeah, I think he signed with the Hart Foundation in 1997.
Yeah.
Yeah, the end of his career, actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because he passed away in 1997.
Yeah.
Then in 1997 he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame because, like I said, I thought he was a great wrestler when he was tag team with Steve Austin, and he was a high flyer for his size and ability. And Steve Austin was more of like a bruiser, and that's why they made such a great tag team. They were champions for a long time.
Yep. Trying to find out how long they were champions.
Yeah.
But I know his career ended early because he passed away at such a young age.
Yeah.
He was 35 years old.
35 years old. I know. It's
35.
They all die so young, man.
But his case, he had a heart attack. He had heart failure.
Right. Basically, because of the prescriptions and medication that he was taking, I think probably had a contribution to that. So
because I have one of the police reports here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it says that Pillman was found at 1:09 p.m. Central Time on October 6th, dead on his bed at the Budgetel Motel in Bloomington, Minnesota. There were several bottles of pills, muscle relaxers, and painkillers, all prescription medication, along with one empty beer bottle found by the police.
Wow.
No one saw Pillman since 10:45 p.m. the previous night, and the entire crew was already in St. Louis by the time anyone knew he was was a miss. No illegal drugs were found in the room. Plus, the bottles were not empty, nor was there a suicide note. And then it says here, he took a lot of painkillers because of his Humvee accidents.
Mm.
So he didn't even commit suicide. He was just probably so much pain and cocaine and everything else. And that's how his heart just stopped.
Crazy.
Yeah, I actually found that police report. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Maybe we'll, if you can take a screenshot of it, maybe we'll share it on our Facebook page, as a...
I actually wrote it down, so I got the file.
Oh, really?
Again.
Well, if you find it again, try to take a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
So we'll put it up on our Facebook page. We actually have one viewer today.
Who's out there? I can't see.
Yeah, I wish I can tell who it is, but and then we also have my wife is in the chat. Want to say hello to her? She's back there. But yeah, we haven't been doing the podcast for a while. I took some time off. I had to kind of just like rejuvenate my energies and just kind of like refresh my mind. And I've had so many things like go on at once. Like I didn't want to do a half-ass show because I don't think it's fair to not only you guys, my co-hosts, but I don't think it's fair to the audience me doing a half-ass show. And I'm like that with my other podcasts. I run 3 podcasts now, and I don't want to ruin the podcast with not having energy, positive, good flowing energy with the podcast, because then it's not going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's funny. I see something here now. Brian Pillman and Melanie, they were involved in a heated divorce just prior to his death.
She was I couldn't. Did you watch that episode of Dark Side of the Ring or no?
I didn't have a chance to see it. My schedule for work's been killing me.
Yeah.
Having a chance to watch any of it.
Yeah. If you guys, the viewers and listeners of our podcast, if you catch this episode, I highly recommend that TV show, that series, because they really get into details about their behind the scenes and life, outside of the wrestling ring. They have great interviews with people that were really close to those wrestlers that knew them well, and Steve Austin was a really good friend of his. They were almost best friends.
Yeah.
And because I don't think anybody knew Brian Pillman as best as he did, because in Dark Side of the Ring, like they stated, that nobody could tell if he was staying in character or if it was out of character.
Yeah, he was. I know when he first came out, he was so cool and everything else. But later on, you saw his eyes getting freaky. So you don't know if that was a part of the drugs or what he was taking, or that was part of the show.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Right. And I loved the cane that he walked to the ring with in WWF, because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it a horse?
I think so.
Yeah. So
when it was a 4 horseman cane.
Yeah. And that's what he used to walk to the ring with because of his injury, and he used to walk with that, which was cool. I think it was kind of a memento of him being part of the Horsemen. So it was pretty cool. Do you remember, because in Dark Side of the Ring, they also showed some clips. Unfortunately, we can't show clips because YouTube gets mad at us whenever we do, share copyrighted infringement stuff on the YouTube channel. Otherwise, we'll be deleted off of YouTube, and I don't want to do that. Anyway, if you watch that episode about Brian Pillman, they show a clip of the feud, actually, when they wanted Steve Austin to kind of get a lot of heat to become a heel, like a really good heel, and they had him turn on Brian Pillman, and he gave him a stunner in the ring, and he started to attack his injuries and stuff. So they wanted to play it up, his injuries so it would look realistic. But he actually went to their house and attacked them at their house and everything. And
I remember that one.
Yeah, and it was something new for wrestling because they never done anything like that before, and so it was kind of new for them. Do you remember that?
I remember that. After that, they started going up other people's houses.
Yeah.
And attacking people's houses.
Yeah. When Randy Orton feuded with Triple H, they did that.
Yep.
Yep.
He went to his house, remember he attacked his family.
Yeah.
I think they threatened his family on him.
Yep. And then when Stone Cold Steve Austin feuded with Vince McMahon, he would visit him at the hospital. Remember the famous bedpan strike to the head?
No, that was the best one. We're going to have to just do an episode of just the stunts that Stone Cold did.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, we can highlight Stone Cold Steve Austin. I thought for our next moments. So, go ahead, Gerard. Sorry.
I was going to say his best moments.
Yeah, best moments of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like the beer truck. Yeah, that was great. But I think maybe for our next one, we were gonna highlight Too Cold Scorpio, well, I feel is a very underrated wrestler. Doesn't get the attention that he deserves. And watching Dark Side of the Ring, I learned how crazy of a freaking wrestler this guy was. Not only was he a high flyer for his size, but the things he did outside the ring in the public. He had a really bad feud with Hawk from the Road Warriors.
Yeah, I have to start watching that. I really have not. I have not watched that. Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah. That last episode was crazy. The collision in North Korea. What those guys went through over there was insane. It was like basically being in North Korean prison over there, even though they were there for an event, and they couldn't do anything without pissing them off because they hated Americans at that time. They probably still do, but it was like worse back then.
Let's see what we got here.
So anyway, back to Brian Pillman. I know we're getting off track sometimes, but I think his son looks a lot like him. You ever see his son?
Yeah, he looks almost identical to him, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's like the only one really following in his footsteps, really.
But is his son wrestling right now? Or?
Yeah, he's in AEW.
AEW, yeah, because you don't see him right now on WCW. I mean WWE.
Yeah, no, he's not there.
Not yet.
AEW snapped him up, and I think that was a good move on his part. So, but yeah, he kind of like follows his father's footsteps, and carries his persona in the ring a little bit.
Yeah,
which is cool. But he has the same name. I mean, he goes by Brian Pillman Jr. So.
Didn't he also adopt the girl? I believe he has a daughter. He adopted it.
Well, he actually had quite a few kids, but it was between two marriages. His first marriage, which I thought was a more positive marriage, but he eventually got divorced because I don't know. She kind of like lost it, after their first marriage went downhill, and she ended up killing herself over it, which is very tragic, sad thing. And he ended up getting all his kids, I think. And he met this new person, Melanie. She was hot back in the day. She was a very beautiful lady. But if you see her now, it's like, holy cow.
And night and day.
Yeah.
People age fast. You don't realize it, but it is a strenuous life being a wrestler. And involved. I know we understand. It's I'll become a wrestler. It's an easy job, but there's so much work involved in it.
No, you're always on the road. You're on the road constantly, and
you never rest.
You never rest. No, and everything. You got to push through whatever injuries that you have, but you can't really take off because if you take off, you're not making money.
Yeah.
Then
you get the guys like Pillman. You get injured, and you have no job after that. So you got to take the painkillers.
Right.
The problem is the painkillers get addicting, but once you start involving drugs on top of that, but they think he was with the Cincinnati Bengals before this.
Yes, he was. He was.
Yeah.
He had a very short stint in the
and with
NFL.
them, they found him doing the growth hormones. He was a small guy.
Right.
So having that already in his system, that's already compromising everything. So Tommy got the wrestling and the painkillers. He got involved in a lot of cocaine also, they say.
Right. It didn't.
But the cocaine, I think you saw, because you saw his eyes just really wild.
Mm-hmm.
He walked in with that crazy look in his face.
Yeah.
Almost like Matt Hardy has now.
Yeah. Well, I have the image right here on StreamYard next to our video cameras here. There's a picture of him with that crazy stare.
Yeah, we'll see how long that stays on before they take that off.
Yeah, no, it's just an image.
We don't have rights to use his image.
Yeah. He's dead. But
it was a sad day when he passed away also because he was so young and his career was really short with the wrestling, yet he made a big impact back then.
Yeah.
You can mention wrestlers and you mentioned Brian Pillman. Flying Brian. There you go.
Yep. Well, that's what he was known as before the loose cannon, Flying Brian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And right before he had a pay-per-view event with WWF, before his match that night, they actually announced live on the pay-per-view about Brian Pillman being found dead in the hotel room. I remember that night. I remember that pay-per-view, and I watched it, and I was like, everybody was like, "Holy cow!" Like, because they tried to reach out to him, and nobody heard from him, and that was unlike him to do a no-show.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
Yeah, and the guy on the phone was telling them, "You gotta hang on. I gotta tell you, the guy's dead."
Yeah.
That's like, and to have your family find out like that, that's tragic.
Oh, big time, big time. I'm trying to see something here. I saw something else. Because the big thing, I mean, when he came back to wrestling, he had a big problem with Goldust.
Mm-hmm.
He had the big battle of Goldust.
Yeah.
And that was right before that night. The previous night before his death, he had a major series of angles continue the saga with Goldust and Melanie on the pay-per-view that I think it was that night, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura Simonelli liked our live feed here, so we have 2 people watching now. How you doing, Laura? If you're watching us, hello. So, I like your background, Gerard.
I don't know. I don't even know what it looks like.
Oh, you don't?
I just put it on. I have no idea what it is. I can't see.
You're in an office environment.
Oh, cool. It's like,
yeah.
I just snapped something real quick. I can't even see it because right now my image is tiny on the screen.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, once again, we're going through the motions here on our live return back to Dead Man's Triad Wrestling Podcast here on Facebook and on YouTube. You can catch our show on those 2 social media pages. Please subscribe to our show on YouTube if you haven't already. There's a little bell at the top right corner of our main YouTube channel page, and just hit that bell and you'll subscribe to our show, and you catch all the episodes there. I believe we're actually up to episode number 9. Our next show will be episode number 10. I can't believe we're up to 10 episodes already.
10 episodes, wow.
Yeah.
It's not bad. 10 episodes, we have 2 fans.
So guys, help us out. Share the show if you don't mind, if you like it. It's just a couple of guys chatting about wrestling, old school wrestling, new school wrestling. It's a fun podcast. If you like wrestling, share it.
And I think we should do one episode eventually on Kerry Von Erich.
Yes, Texas Tornado.
Texas Tornado, yeah. He was another wrestler I really liked. So he was another guy who reminded me of Brian Pillman. They almost had the same look, the same body style, yet they fought almost the same.
Right.
And then they both lost their lives too young. I mean, he committed suicide, and Pillman obviously, they say he did commit suicide, but to me, take all those drugs, that's like committing suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Again, just being a wrestler on the road, it just takes a toll on you, especially if you have injuries. And, I don't know. There's a lot of people who do really well, and there's a lot of people who do really bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at like Ric Flair. That he's on forever. I don't know if he did any enhanced drugs, but Hulk Hogan definitely did enhanced drugs.
Yeah.
Yet he's still trucking along.
Right.
And doing well.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of these guys who jump around, the flying guys, those are the guys who seem to go way faster.
Yeah.
Because I think they're more acrobatic and they're more strenuous. Like Hulk Hogan back in the days, he lifted a lot of weights.
Right.
And he was never really a flying guy.
Right. Well, it was more about the look and playing the role, I guess, so to speak. If you were a great promo wrestler, doing videos, storylines, playing the role of your gimmick or character. It was all about the character and look for those guys because they didn't really have any other abilities.
Well, when he came in WCW and ECW, he was still called Flying Brian, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then when he went to WWE, he stayed Flying Brian, then he turned to the Loose Cannon.
No, I think he was Loose Cannon going to WWF at the time.
He was Loose Cannon coming in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. because he actually one of the things I learned in Dark Side of the Ring, because again, only those who were very close to him knew that when he was in character or out of character. But even those people who were close to him had a hard time knowing if he was in or out of character. But he used that to kind of I don't know, push himself to get a large contract with WWF at the time. Because he wanted to make more money, and with both companies feuding at the time, like it was the perfect pitch for him to utilize that, and he did. He even Steve Austin was like he couldn't tell like if it was just Brian or if it was his character, but whatever he did worked for him because they still signed him even with the injury and everything, and it worked for him.
Imagine if he was still alive today in wrestling.
Oh, he would be he would have been the top heel main eventer.
Would have been a good tag team. Put him and Dolph Ziggler together as tag team partners then.
Or reunite him with Steve Austin down the line.
Yeah.
But as Stone Cold and as the Loose Cannon.
Yeah. Well, Stone Cold was a good wrestler, but as himself. But in tag teams, he always turned in his partners.
Oh yeah.
He always had to turn in his partners.
Well, because they wanted him to be the big heel. They wanted him to be the big bad guy. So that's why I think they did that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when Steve Austin first arrived to WWF, he was known as Stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning Steve, yeah.
Yeah, but then they they wanted him to be the big heel for them. So they said, change your name, and if you come up with a good name, like, go with it. So the first name that they came up with for him was the Ringmaster. Remember the Ringmaster?
Yeah, I don't like that one.
So then I think it was his wife, actually, that gave him the idea.
Your wife is calling.
Sorry, my phone is... didn't vibrate my phone. It was his wife that gave him the idea to give him the name Stone Cold.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool.
I like they have the skull and everything else with him.
Yeah. So, Anthony and Ron are in the chat room.
Did you see a new commercial now? Has Stone Cold talking about the commercial? Because Stone Cold said so.
Yeah.
And he's with who's an actor with him? That commercial. He's talking about something about one of the shows, the phones or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, but it was a funny commercial. Yeah. So my wife said, because for some reason, StreamYard is not picking up the comments in the chat. Usually, StreamYard connects Facebook and YouTube, the comment section, or wherever you place a comment under those social media pages. It usually gives us a side screen of who's commenting, but for some reason, it's not picking up here. So I apologize for that, guys. That's out of my control. That's StreamYard thing, so I can't see everybody's comments, unfortunately. That sucks.
I see absolutely nothing here.
Yeah. But it is what it is. What can you do? We'll see the comments later, guys.
Yeah, I'm actually afraid to touch anything now because I might shut it off.
We're just happy we're on and it's working.
Yes.
Right.
Look at the first day back. We get back. Let's talk with Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of people probably don't know who Brian Pillman is.
Yeah.
They don't know this. Who's Brian Pillman? He's Flying Brian. Who's Flying Brian? He was ECW. I don't remember him ECW. But you really have to watch the documentaries on him, and you see what kind of life this guy had. And he just. I liked him a lot. I did like him.
Yeah.
And this way he presented himself in a ring in a short period of time.
Yeah. I wish I could play some of the promos that he did, because the promos that he did in ECW were crazy, and he really portrayed that character really well in ECW. Yeah. And they let him kind of have freedom on the mic because ECW was hardcore, and they kind of let them kind of do their own thing during their promos.
And then look, they say in a short period of time, he also won the title several times too. He won the title several times.
Yep.
And that usually doesn't happen that fast for wrestlers. He's in there almost a year or two, and then he got titles already.
Yeah,
Tag team titles and regular titles.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see what else happened with Brian Pillman here. So he, even in WCW, when he was kind of transitioning into the loose cannon after the Hollywood Blondes split up, he was wrestling. What the hell was his name? The guy who booked their matches during the late '80s in WCW. He was wrestling him in the ring, and they don't normally jump out of character during a promo, but his contract was expiring, and in order to play the part, like I said, he was playing both companies against each other so he could get more money out of a new contract. So in the ring, Kevin Sullivan, that's who it was, Kevin Sullivan. And he would at the end of the match, he was like, "I respect you, Booker, man." And everybody was like, "I can't believe he said that," because like those were things that were kind of like taboo for wrestling. You don't say stuff like that during your promo. You know what I mean? Yeah. They kind of hid that from the audience.
Yep. Did he also team with Tom Zank?
Yeah.
Did he get titles? And did he get a title match with them? Were they tag team champions?
Yep.
Another wrestler was underrated, Tom Zank.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny because before you brought him up, I totally forgot about him.
Yeah. Some of the names come to me. I'm thinking Tom Zank, Z-E-N-K, Zank.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's going back too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that just they didn't get the spotlight because they didn't carry themselves like these guys, like the Loose Cannon, and but they caught your eye if you were a fan of wrestling. You still followed them,
And when he came in, I don't think he had any family involved.
No.
So he wasn't even pushed ahead.
No, he was really a loner. There was a few that were like that.
And he came in and he worked way to the top.
Yeah.
Worked way to the top, and if he didn't have that Humvee accident, I think he would have been fine.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm sure if the cocaine would have been a problem with certain things, but you get those painkillers involved, and that just seems to be a downfall totally.
Yeah, no, totally. So, we're up to...
Every time you move, I'm watching your shoulder disappear.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't perfected the virtual background just yet. I do plan on getting a green screen eventually, because that should make it better. But the lighting really kind of helps take away that distortion behind you. So that's why you may see a little bit of it, but I'm trying not to move around too much. So that's why you don't see it too much.
It's funny. If I put my hand in front of my face, I stay here. If I put anything white in front of my face, I disappear.
Yeah, see, like if I go all the way back.
See,
it's not bad, though. It's not too bad, actually.
See, I'll show you. Next to me, I have this little ghost thing, right? You see it?
Yeah.
Now watch it goes in front of my face. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Gerard disappeared.
I'm gone.
That's pretty funny.
I wanted to have eyeballs on this thing. I think I look at myself at this thing, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm gone.
That's funny. Well, like when I drink...
maybe our next episode we'll do our typical paranormal wrestlers.
Yeah. And look, when I drink my coffee mug, half my neck disappears.
Look, this is funny with this background. I love it. I have more fun doing this. So, how's your podcast? I don't know.
Gerard wasn't even there. He was a ghost. We got the apparition of Gerard.
I'm actually having more fun doing it. Well, my hand doesn't do it, so it must be the color white.
Yeah. We'll perfect it though. Like I said, eventually when I get the green screen going, and I recommend Gerard if you ever able to get a green screen yourself, you can put one behind you, and then that'll improve it.
Oh yeah. Have to have time to put that up next.
Yeah, I found them.
I'm looking. I figure out how to get on Skype.
Yeah, I know. That took like a good half hour actually. I had it going, but like I don't know. It was being difficult. But what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought now. Anyways, guys, leave a comment if you like the at least the audio. If it sounds good, if it sounds bad, video look good or bad. Let us know either way. I welcome feedback of the show if you like the topic. We've been discussing the loose cannon Brian Pillman. We're highlighting him this week. Feel free to leave a comment, even if we don't see it right now, because apologies, but StreamYard it's not showing me any comments in the chat right now, unfortunately. But my wife said that Ron and Anthony were watching the show, so I want to say hello to those guys if they hear us or if they're watching.
I also see another fight that he was in. Remember Barry Windham?
Yeah, Barry Windham. Yeah, they had
another fight he had. And Barry Windham was a really good wrestler back in the days.
Yeah, Barry Windham was a big name.
Yeah, and had Brian Pillman go up against him was another thing too.
Right.
He fought a lot of big names. And you don't get a lot of wrestlers coming in at that young age getting an opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially without family. I saw a story with Randy Orton. He got pushed ahead of everybody to get the fame he had.
Right.
And Brian Pillman, I think if he was alive, he would be one famous wrestler at this point.
Yeah, he probably would have had, the star of kind of like Randy Orton if he were still alive. He'd be like under that kind of tier, I guess, of wrestlers. He'd probably be a good main eventer, like I said. So
because even got John Cena, I think he also came up without family.
Yeah, John Cena's another one, a loner. Yeah,
without family, and he could have been in the league of these guys. The way he was, again, he wasn't really a big wrestler, but he had good moves. People liked them.
Yep.
Well, after he started becoming loose cannon, I started losing some interest in him at that point.
Oh, really?
But I did like him. I liked him more as Flying Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Back in that type of wrestling, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. But I'm gonna try to look up to see. I think he had other gimmicks too, other than that. Let's see. Brian Pillman.
He also fought against Too Cold Scorpio too.
Yeah. Too Cold Scorpio was actually a big name in WCW for a while before he went to ECW.
Now, Pillman, did he ever wrestle against Malenko or against Eddie Guerrero?
I think it was Eddie Guerrero. His other name was known as I remember this. He was also known as the Yellow Dog.
The Yellow Dog.
Yep.
That one I don't remember. I only remember as Flying Brian. Anytime you mention, when you mention we're going to do Brian Pillman, first thing comes as Flying Brian.
He was the part of something called the Kennel Club as the Yellow Dog Hollywood, a.k.a. as California Brian. And he was trained by Stu Hart, which honestly, I think a lot of guys that, depending where you're trained and how you're brought into wrestling, is how they get their main event levels.
Possibly, yeah.
Being that Stu Hart and the Hart family, obviously, with that backing, your career, I'm sure has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with the Cincinnati Bengals in 1984. He was actually on more than one team. And in 1985, he was with the Buffalo Bills.
Was he?
Calgary Stampeders in 1986.
Then after that, he transferred over to wrestling.
Yeah. Career highlights. All-American. He was an All-American in 1983 in Division One. He was All-American second team 1982 Division One. He was the MAC Defensive Player of the Year in 1983. and he won the Ed Block Courage Award in 1984. He had a pretty good career before joining wrestling.
Yep.
Yep.
I see so many wrestlers today don't even have as many title shots as he had already.
Yeah. You know, Brian Pillman Jr. was actually he was trained by Lance Storm, who Lance Storm also came from the Dungeon, if I'm not mistaken. He also trained with Stu Hart.
So he did.
Yeah.
Another good wrestler, Lance Storm.
Yep.
And the thing is, and he was another small guy too.
Yeah.
He was not a big guy, but yeah, Lance Storm was excellent. He was WCW also, wasn't he? Lance Storm?
Yeah, he started out in WCW, yep.
Yeah, was he? Did he do a stint in ECW also?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So many wrestlers out there. It's hard to keep up with everything.
It really is. Really is. So we are 40 minutes in. We'll stay on a little longer. We got 4 to 5 viewers now. What's up, guys? If you're tuning in late, we're highlighting Brian Pillman, the loose cannon. Died many years ago at the age of 35. Was recently highlighted also on the episode of Dark Side of the Ring. There were 2 parts. Was a great episode, and I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. It's on Vice TV. Give them a little shout out. Believe it or not, you know who narrates Dark Side of the Ring is Chris Jericho, which is another. I'm a big fan of Chris Jericho. I followed his career since he was really young, and I like his music too. I like Fozzy.
Hey, there's another guy who looks like Brian Pillman.
Yeah, Chris Jericho.
They all have that look.
Yeah, they called it the Hollywood blonde look.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
It's funny. You get Stone Cold Steve Austin's called. He's a part of the Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah.
And he's bolder than me.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah. Well, he shaved his head going to WWF. No. Did he shave his head going to WWF, or did he go in there with hair? I don't remember.
I think he started with hair.
Did he?
Because he was stunning Steve.
Funny. Yeah, I can't remember that.
Even Triple H. When Triple H came out, he had the long blonde hair.
Right.
And eventually, they all became good-looking guys like us. No hair.
Yeah, no hair.
No hair. That's the look.
Yeah. And I know this is not part of our topic, but I highly recommend, I don't know if you've seen this movie yet, Gerard, but Batista's Army of the Dead is actually a really good movie. I enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it yet. I got to check it out.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I know Batista hasn't done many movies, and he's starting to do a lot of movies now and whatnot, but he's actually a decent actor, and his acting skills really come out really good in this movie. But I thought it was well done for an action zombie movie. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It's on
Did you watch Backlash? I think it was on last weekend.
No, I have not.
And The Miz was wrestling. I forgot that guy's name. I can't think of this new wrestler came up, but anyway, they had them in a lumberjack match.
Right.
And Batista set it up, and they had all the zombies as the lumberjacks.
Right. I read about it, and
it's funny as hell.
I actually heard it got a lot of heat for doing that storyline, I guess. But a lot of other people were the opposite and thought it was actually done very well. It was something new for them.
It's funny because every time they get near the rings, the zombies are trying to pull them out to attack them.
Right.
And then John Morrison's out there drop kicking everybody and beating the zombies up.
Yeah.
And at the end, after Miz lost the match, all the zombies came in the ring and they ate him.
Right.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Nice. So, I haven't. I believe it or not, like I said, I've been pressed for time lately. I've been involved in a lot of things, projects, and I myself have not had a lot of TV time. So I have not been watching or catching up on stuff that I want to catch up on. So, but anywho, I don't know. I think we pretty much covered a lot of Brian Pillman already.
there's only so much you can do on one guy. Because you're
Yeah.
trying.
Maybe we can highlight 2 guys on one show. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, we could do one. It depends on the person you're doing, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, Brian Pillman has such a short career,
Right.
and a lot of people don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Or we could do like a guy like Hulk Hogan in time, and
Yeah.
hopefully that would be nice if we get Hulk Hogan on the air.
Right. Yeah, I reached out to a lot of wrestlers to be guests on our show, but I don't know. I think we got to get some good episodes in. I think, since we took a little break, maybe get a couple episodes in, and then pick back up where we left off, and maybe reach out to some people and see who bites as far as wanting to be a guest on the show. Because in all honesty, unfortunately, these guys are not making money that aren't like in wrestling anymore. It's like the older guys, and even though they may appear to have a lot of money, but they start charging people to be interviewed on podcasts and stuff. Because I had reached out to Raven once, and they wanted $245 for 45 minutes.
Yeah, so, I wouldn't mind if we had a lot of viewers, but
yeah, we
just gonna be me and you, and that's it.
Yeah, we have 4 today, which is actually I think has been the most in a while. So I'm very grateful for those 4 people that are watching us today.
Well, I'd like to thank the 4 up there. I can't see who's on right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Actually, it's us.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how that works. I didn't know that. I clicked on the little eye there on StreamYard, and it shows you who's viewing, which I didn't know.
Oh, okay. So 4 is me and you 2.
Yeah. So
Did Anthony and Ron go on also? Or?
Yeah, I think they were in the chat. I'm not sure why it's not showing it here on the StreamYard, but this is our first return, first episode in a little while, so it's all good.
So next week we're still good, right? It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm free.
Okay.
Ronnie could be on air then.
Yeah, we have an investigation that Saturday night, but I don't know how late we're gonna be there. It really depends how late the night goes. You know how that goes. It really depends on that, but I don't know. If we end up leaving early and we don't sleep in that much, then I say we'll probably do a show.
Okay.
But it is Memorial Day weekend, and that's next weekend, and I want to wish all the veterans out there and celebrate, the men and women who serve our country, because that's what it's about. Memorial Day is celebrating that. And, I'm a very patriotic person. For those who know me, I want to give a big shout out to the men and women that, help fight for our freedom every day and put their lives on the line, especially those who have fallen during battle. And, much respect for those men and women that, fight for our freedoms.
I'm hoping there's a parade this year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, it's outdoors. They're starting to lift the mask mandates for those who are vaccinated. And believe it or not, we have our second shot today scheduled for later on. And then we'll be fully vaccinated and, we're good to go. But there's kind of a gray area with the new mask mandates because the locations that they listed are, kind of confusing as to who can or cannot have masks, depending on, where you are. New York is kind of
Yeah. Well, if things work out right by 3 o'clock, hopefully I have my 10 shot of tequila, and that'll be fine.
There you go. Yep. And I don't know. So I think we're gonna leave the show there. We usually do a show around an hour. We're at 50 minutes now. Guys, if you liked our show this week, we had some technical errors. We ran late, but hopefully everything looks and sounds well. If not, please let us know either way. Leave a comment and feel free to give us some feedback. We really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, guys, Gerard, where can they subscribe? Where can they watch our show?
They can watch us at Tried Wrestling on YouTube, and we also have a Facebook page. But that'll be the two I know of.
Yep, and also on our logo there tells you where you can watch live, YouTube and Facebook, and it's Dead Man's Triad Wrestling Podcast, and we go live every Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So, want to thank our few viewers and listeners that we had today, and those who are in the chat that I couldn't chat with. But we hope you enjoyed the topic. Want to leave it there. Gerard, any last statement?
Not really anything to say. Everybody to stay safe and enjoy this nice week. And if we don't see you next week, have a happy Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And, stay safe.
I'm off next Friday. Woohoo!
Yeah, me too.
Nice. And I can't wait because it's going to be a nice, relaxing 4-day weekend with an investigation, so I'm happy about that. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to be painting my house.
There you go. All right, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather and be safe out there. Hope you enjoyed the show. We're going to play our video here and then say goodbye to everybody. All right. Have a good day, guys. Here we go.
Have a good, guys. Take care.
All right. Yep.